I think that in general, being a rare disease parent can often be a roller coaster of going to periods of extreme hope and joy and going to places of fear and pain and terror, and that's a little bit of what we're doing today, where we are moving from the other stories of hope into this session now that on mortality, but it's really important that we talk about. Lauren had written something that I'm going to read first before we move on to the rest of the session. July marks Bereaved Parents Awareness Month, a time dedicated to recognizing parents who carry a love that, though no longer tangible, remains eternally in their hearts. You might be wondering why this is a topic at GRICON 25 amidst the groundbreaking research and hope you have all brought to this room. The heartbreaking truth is that many parents in the GRI community are also bereaved parents. We know because we are. GRI disorders doesn't just alter lives. Tragically, it also shortens them too soon. With each new diagnosis, more families face the unimaginable loss of a child. We understand that grief makes people uncomfortable, and silence can inflict more pain than we realize. We will continue to share these stories because we're committed to fighting for a future where these losses are rare, not an exception. We're dedicated to raising awareness, funding research, and working tirelessly towards a future where no parent has to endure this kind of grief. This is for my son Carter and Laura's son Ben. This is for every GRI child taken too soon. And it's for every parent still standing, still speaking, and still shining in the face of unimaginable loss. Before I talk to Lauren and Laura, I'm just going to share a little bit about what we know in terms of the facts related to mortality and GRI disorders. So we've been working on a study that we're going to be publishing after interviewing families of people with GRI disorder. And so what we know is that on average, that people with GRI disorders do appear to be at a higher risk of early mortality. We know of more than 30 deaths in our community since 2019. Almost all of them are GRIN, although there have been published reports of GRIA and GRIC patients dying young. And more than half of these are GRIN1. Respiratory complications are the leading cause of early death in GRI patients. And other causes of death include epilepsy and seizures, cardiac arrest and choking. And most of the deaths are unexpected. The families don't know, often even a day before, that they're coming. The other thing that I should just note is that when I talk about, on average, that they appear to be our kids appear to be at high risk, that doesn't mean that for any individual family that there's a higher risk. Many of our kids may well live, into their 80s. We don't know, but certainly on average, there's a higher chance. So thank you both so much for joining us and talking today. Got some photos there of Ben. Can you tell me about Ben? Do you have a mic too?
Hi, I'm Laura. So yeah, Ben was 3 when he passed away. Right now, we are celebrating his 7th birthday next week. So he's been gone longer than he's been here. But looking at his face, still just, ooh, my bunny. I miss my bunny. Don't want to get too into things, but yeah, so he was 3, and yeah.
Lauren, do you feel comfortable yet? No? Okay. Laura, when did you, if you go back to early with Ben, when did you first realize he wasn't developing typically?
So I actually realized kind of immediately, but nobody believed me until he was about 4 months. And then people started taking me seriously, and he was hospitalized and said it's probably something genetic. We got his diagnosis just after he turned 1. But yeah, I realized kind of immediately.
And what made you realize?
I've been around a lot of newborns. I'm a nurse, and he wasn't making eye contact. He was just, his breathing was weird. He was never in the NICU. They sent us home immediately. He was never hospitalized until he was 4 months old. So it's just it was like kind of an intuition thing that I just knew it was something. And I was really upset that no one believed me. And now looking back, I just want to say, hey, guess what? My son's dead now. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, that was hard.
What was the road to a diagnosis like?
So during that 4 month, when he was 4 months old, that hospitalization, someone said he's just not normal. A doctor said that he's just not normal. And then that's when we started the genetic testing. Nothing came back on all of the first stuff, and then I got a call while I was driving he was in the back seat. And I got a call from the genetic team that they found something, and it was GRIN2B, and at that point, they said, we don't really know anything about it. I think there were 300 people in the world at that point, or that's what she said. And she did say there's a foundation, go on that group, and that's kind of all we can do. And that was that.
And so what was life like with Ben?
So the next morning after waking up, from knowing he had GRIN2B, I looked at him and I said, nothing's changed. You're still Ben. You have this diagnosis now, and that doesn't change anything. I'm still going to keep doing everything I am for you. And I did. And yeah, obviously everybody here knows life is not easy with a child who's disabled. I can answer that. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, I didn't realize it'd be this hard. Okay, I'm gonna be quick. Because I can't answer this one. He made life so amazing. And I miss it every day. And I would give up anything to have him back. And I don't think people realize what a blessing it is to have a child like Carter. He taught me to be such a better person. And he was so mean. And I miss it. I miss him. I miss him fighting me and laughing with me and fighting me constantly. And it's so silent at the house. And he's the reason I have to keep fighting, because it's hard to continue wanting to function and not having him here. I really didn't think it'd be this hard. I don't cry this much ever. And I love to talk about him. But it was the same experience with us. Nobody believed me, and I fought very hard to get some kind of help. I ended up firing 10 pediatricians. They worked for me to find one that actually listened to me, and we stuck with her until the end because she was amazing, and she's the one that helped me get the diagnosis. And it's funny to say now that it like, about how hard life is, right, with our kids. And I can't even express to you how much I miss it. Like, I miss being able to fight for him and get him things that he needs, and I miss making him happy.
Do you have a favorite memory of Carter to share?
It's hard. I mean, look at him. It's hard. It's hard. I guess my favorite memory, and I had to say this at his funeral too, because it tells you everything you know about Carter. We had started, I fought very hard to get him in medical daycare. And if any of you have ever worked with your state trying to get things for your kid, it's almost impossible. They don't even understand the laws. So in order for him to be in medical daycare, we had to have Medicaid. We made too much money for Medicaid, and it's this vicious circle. I couldn't even pay out of pocket for him to go, but regular daycares wouldn't take him. So I went to the legislature, and I made this huge speech with his picture and shit. And they gave me Medicaid. So, and we shouldn't have to do that. So thank you for that, but we shouldn't have to do that. So we started daycare, and this first day of daycare, I went and picked him up. And the lady comes out with him, and he's very happy. He's in a good mood. And she said, I just want to let you know that he'd been a nurse today. But he seemed very happy about it. And she ended up crying, and like they had to get like butterfly bandages because he like and he was happy about it, and it made me happy. But that's the best memory I have of him, because it tells you everything you need to know. Like, Carter cared about himself. Like, let's be honest with you, Carter was very passive aggressive and loved himself. But he was I couldn't have chosen a better kid. And if you told me now, I'd have to do it all over again, and he would still die, I would do it. I would do it over and over and over and over again, because he just made life better.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. When you're going through it, it's easy to say, oh, I wish I didn't have to do this. The silence that the house became, it's unbearable. And I would do it all over again, completely. And I would give anything to have to keep dealing with what I was dealing with, because, yeah, he was joy. And Ben, I got here yesterday, or when I got here, I walked around the property, and I just thought how much Ben would love it here. He loved the heat. He loved water. He loves noise and being in like crowded places with a lot going on. He would love it here, and that made me really sad to just wish that he could be here with everybody. So, no.
Do you guys want to tell us about your tattoos?
So my tattoo is actually it's Ben's heartbeat. And then he's Grin2 B, and there are bees. And so it's his heartbeat from his EKG with a bee kind of flying off into wherever he is now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have two. This one is Where the Wild Things Are. That's our favorite book. It's a tattoo. That was our favorite book. The day that he died, he had come home from school, and I had this thing called a functional hand. You put it on their hand, you grab their elbow, and it helps them write. And he wrote his name on a little sheet of paper. I was so proud of him. And then he died that same day. It's still unbelievable to me, but That's what I have right now. And then I have an appointment until I die with my tattoo artist on his death date every year, and I go get a new one every year. So this year I'm going to get his blue glasses. Here. And his ashes are in both of them. I don't know. I guess it's a small way to keep him with me at all times. And I just enjoy the experience of doing it because
Neither of you, I'm going to ask some questions now that I want you to know. You don't have to answer because these are the even harder ones. But do either of you want to talk about the final days with Ben or Carter?
Yeah. So Ben was in the hospital constantly. He had another admission. This time it was like we didn't know what was going on. He wasn't constipated. We didn't know. He just wouldn't stop screaming. We were there for 11 days, and it came to a point that we were just keeping him alive for ourselves and had to make the decision to go home, let him be comfortable at home. We did try to give him, he was tube fed. We did try to give him a feeding when we got home, and it was terrible. So we made the decision to let him go. So there were a few days that he was awake and kind of talking to us, or like interested, and then the last few days, it was always like, when's the last time he's gonna open his eyes? And he didn't for the past like 2 days before he died. But I will always be extremely grateful that he died at home with us. And worst thing that will ever happen in my life, but I am very grateful that we got the chance to actually like be with him and say goodbye and say, well, I told him all my secrets. I told him a lot of stuff, and which one of them being, I'm never gonna stop fighting for your friends. I'm never gonna stop doing this. It'd be way easier to just like, oh, I've never heard a grin. Go ahead, go away. I told him I would never stop fighting, so here I am. Yes, no, maybe so.
I'll try. So the summer before Carter died, he was very sick. We don't know why. I had him multiple specialists, multiple doctors, and no one could figure out what was going on, which is mind-blowing to me. And I was very scared because I felt like he was going to die. And a week before he died, I actually told my husband and my parents, I was like, I feel like he's dying, and nobody believes me. 2 days before he died, I brought him to the doctor. I did the same thing, whatever you're seeing here. I did that in the doctor's office. I said, I think he's gonna die. Like, I really think he's gonna die, and I'm scared, I'm so scared. And she said, Lauren, he's not gonna die. And then 2 days later, he died. I still don't know what happened. It was very traumatic and not something I want to relive. I relive it every day. And in my nightmares and in my dreams, like I just see him. They're doing him in a cardiac arrest. We don't know what happened. I haven't looked at his death certificate because I don't want to. I can't change anything. It was hard. The last few months were really, really hard. saved him. And I keep going back and thinking about all the things I could have done differently. Or if I did something wrong and I'm the one that did. It's hard to live with that. I don't know, I'm sorry. I wish it wouldn't have been so hard for him the last few months. And I wish he wouldn't have had to be in so much pain when we could figure out where it was coming from or what we could do about it. But he did know how much I loved him. And he knew how much his daddy loved him. And both my parents and my husband's parents were there in the hospital with us when he was dying. So they saw him come into the world and they saw him leave. I'm not grateful for much. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and say that I'm grateful for many things beyond being his mom. I'm not grateful for this experience. It has not made me a better person. In fact, I'm probably worse. But I hope that I'm making it proud wherever he is. You are. And I hope he knows that everything that I did for him, I did it out of love. Even when I was mean to him. I had to whip him a lot. I just wish I could have changed it a little bit. I could have accepted him dying if it was less traumatic. It was a very unbelievably traumatic death, and it wasn't fair for him. He didn't deserve it, and we didn't deserve to watch it. And it makes me sad that I brought him to 25 specialists within 3 months, and no one, not one person, could tell me what was going on or even give me someone else to go to ask. And there's just so much unknown, and I feel like at least I'm in the position now to hopefully change that and keep their stories alive to show doctors and researchers that you're helping humans and you're helping these families so they never have to feel like this. I guess I'm grateful for that. That's it, though.
I'm sure in your brain you know this, but I imagine I can speak for everyone in the room because we want your heart to know, both of you, that it's not your fault. You guys.
But we don't know that. Like, that's the issue, is like you can hear that time and time again, but we don't know that because we don't know what happened. So maybe we don't know. And I thank you, but like also, we don't know. It could have been.
Obviously, you both don't want to be here today doing this. This is really, really hard. But you guys are speaking today, and you're doing what you do to help the rest of our kids, in addition, to keeping the legacy of Carter and Ben alive. As a last question, I want to ask, how should we remember Ben and Carter?
So for Ben, I'm proud of the fact that we tried as hard as we could to not hold back on doing things because it was difficult. Ben loved doing stuff. He loved being out of the house, doing everything. It was hard, and sometimes it would take 2 hours to get out of the house, and we'd last 10 minutes, and that would be it. I want you to know that is worth it for them. So please, I know it's hard, but like, don't hold back from doing stuff with your kids and having experiences with them. I hope Ben's brain at some point, he donated his brain, and I hope at some point that helps with something. And yeah, he does not want this for any of you. What was the question?
How should we remember Carter?
His favorite song was High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. So one, every time you hear it, you're going to think of him now. But it encompasses everything that he was. He didn't let much get him down. And he fought to do a lot of stuff. But he was also very, very proud of himself. He was very proud of himself. And I could never be prouder of anyone in my life. I'm so happy that the fate of the universe just brought us together. I think it was kismet. It was definitely kismet. There was no way that wasn't supposed to happen.
Thank you both. Ben and Carter are two of more than 30 people with GRI disorders who have passed. And we're going to show a video in a minute to recognize and remember everybody else. And then we'll go straight to break and be back here at 11:15. I just want to say, though, that if I had done what you guys did, I would probably just want to go and be by myself for a while. So if maybe just at the end of the video, if Lauren and Laura want to just leave, just let them leave for now and catch up with them later. Probably lots of people want to come and talk to you, but let's try to let them leave if they like to. Thank you.
This is awkward.